Good morning, class. How are we on this beautiful Thursday morning? It's actually sunny for a change. I'm just going to check my sound's okay because we had a few issues with sound last week. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Good morning, class.
I can hear that is perfect now, if not a little loud. So apologies if we've gone from one extreme to the other there, teachers. It was too quiet last week and it's too loud this week. So apologies. Just turn your volume down. Right, good morning. How are we? Are you excited for the next instalment of our live lesson series? So if this is the first live lesson that you've done with me, my name is Miss Kimball, and I'm going to be teaching you and your teacher how to use the Just2easy tool suite. Now, in today's session, we are going to be creating a digital storybook using JIT Mix. And in fact, the theme of our storybook is the day our pet could talk. So we're going to start making that shortly. Now, teachers, just a little bit of an announcement first of all. There has been a change to the live lesson schedule for the next 2 weeks because I am taking a little bit of medical leave. So we've bunched things up. So I am delivering the autumn coding mini games, simple event-based games live lesson tomorrow, 9:30 till 10:15. I've extended that a little bit just because we've got so much content to get through. So that is aimed at Key Stage 2 children using visual. So I am delivering these live, but if you want to stick to the regular live lesson schedule, don't worry, they're all recorded. When I send you out an email, the link works for both the live lesson and also the recording. So don't panic if you suddenly think that you need to do it tomorrow. You don't. You can still do it next Thursday if you wanted to. And then following up, we've got fact files, animal research and presentation, live lesson scheduled. I think that was originally scheduled for the 28th, so I've moved it forwards to next Monday at 9:30. Okay, so just to make you aware of those changes. And you can register through the teachers area tile on your Launchpad if those are of interest to you. Okay, now the most important part of our lesson, obviously, are our shout outs. So we have got quite a few shout outs this morning. So hello and welcome to P4 at Knockmore Primary School in Lisbon. Hello and welcome to Miss Trainer's P3 and P4 class at Our Lady of Fatima Primary School in Derry. Hello and welcome to you. Mrs. Wilson's P3, 4 and 5. That is a busy class, Miss. At Milltown Primary School in Banbridge. Hello and welcome to you. P3 and 4 at Lackey Primary School in Killyman. So hello, there's 22 of you very eager students apparently. So hello and welcome to you guys. We've got Mrs. Carlin's P3 and 4 class in St Michael's Primary School in Dunamana. Hello and welcome to you. Page number 2. We've got Mrs. Gibson's and Mrs. Moore's P4 classes from St. Joseph's in Newry. Hello and welcome to you. Mrs. Little's P3 class at Ballycraggy Primary School in Antrim. Hello. Primary 2 and 3 at Courtamlet Primary School. Apologies if I've mispronounced that. There's got to be one that I've mispronounced in every lesson, surely. Then we've got Miss Grant's P4 class at St Nicholas Primary School in Ardglass. Hello, welcome. P3-4 at Queen Elizabeth II Primary School in Pomeroy. Hello and welcome to you. And last but not least, Mrs. McGrath's P3-4 class at Ansborough Integrated Primary School. Hello and welcome to you. That's one of the busiest sessions we've had. And I can see there's about 20 of you online, 20 classes. That's amazing. So hello and welcome to all of you. Right, I flipped the sessions a little bit. I am going to show you what we're going to create first. And then we're going to start having to think about how we're going to create it. So this is JIT Mix. And this is the ebook that we're going to create. The Day My Pet Could Talk. So what we're going to do, we're going to add in a front page with a setting and a character and a title for our book and an author. And we're also going to add in some sound if we get some time.
The Day My Pet Could Talk by Miss Kimball.
So it's going to be a talking ebook. And then we're going to add in the start of our story. So on one Thursday morning, Miss Kimball was getting ready to teach a live lesson and suddenly she heard a voice. "I'm hungry," said the voice. Miss Kimball looked around but couldn't see anyone. "Who's there?" Miss Kimball stuttered, looking around. "Why, it's me, Mitts," said the little black cat, who was sitting on her desk, "and I suspect—" There she is, the star of our story, who is always sat behind me whenever I'm working. So that is Mitts. So that is my story. And you're going to create your story with your pet. Or if you don't have a pet, you're going to use an imaginary pet. Okay? So that is what we're going to create today. Now, first of all, we're going to think about what we're going to learn to do. So first of all, we are learning to understand what an ebook is. It's very important that we know. Then we're going to think about writing a story with a clear beginning, middle and end. We're going to use JIT Mix and we're going to combine text, pictures and voice in a digital story like we've just looked at. After the session, you'll probably look at editing and improving our writing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can change it. We're probably not going to complete this ebook in the time that we've got, teachers, just to manage your expectations. But I will provide you with the tools to go forwards and then finish off your book either later today or later on in the week. And we're going to save our work so you can edit it later and show others. So that's a lot of learning, isn't it? So first of all, what is an ebook? Now, teachers, the reason we deliver this through YouTube Live is because we offer the option to be able to pause the session. So I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that have done these lessons before, but if this is your first live lesson with me, you can pause the session at any time. And I do like to give discussion points where you can pause the session and have a little chat with your class. So first of all, I'm going to ask if anybody knows, what is an e-book? So if you want to have a chat with your class, you can pause the session, teachers. Okay, so an e-book. The E stands for electronic. An electronic book. Okay, so it's like a normal storybook, but it's made and read on a digital device. So a computer, a tablet, a laptop. I forgot to put in phone there. So I read my Kindle. So a Kindle is a type of ebook, and I read my Kindle on my phone, and I've also got my Kindle. So there's lots of devices that we can read our ebooks on. Okay. You can still turn the pages, but instead of paper, you swipe or click to move the pages. Some books have pictures, writing, sounds, and even voice recordings, just like the ones that we're going to be creating today. Oh, I forgot to add the animations on this one. Right, teachers, whenever you see this bit here, that is a discussion point, okay? So you can pause the session and discuss this with your students. So what makes a good story? If you are discussing it, can you think of a great story that you have read? What makes this story good? So have a think about your favourite book. What sort of elements of it do you think make it a good book? So good stories include beginning, middle and end. This is our story mountain planning. You may have seen this, teachers. This is in the resource library if you want to use it as a resource. That's where we start the story. So we introduce the characters and the setting. Something happens in the middle, usually a problem, and then that's usually solved. And then we have an ending where the story is finished. Stories include key elements such as characters. So I've got my characters here. So who recognises this character? It's the Gruffalo. It's a bit of a poorly looking Gruffalo because Miss Kimball drew him. We've got a superhero. We've got the very hungry caterpillar. Now I did actually draw that. I'm quite proud of that one. I drew that in JIT. And then we've also got a princess, a generic princess that doesn't look particularly generic. And we've got our setting here. So we did this a few weeks ago in JIT Paint in one of our live lessons. So we've got characters, settings, problems and solutions. And we can bring our story to life by adding in pictures and sounds. You can also add in animations in JITmix. We're not going to do that today, but that might be something to have a think about. Teachers, it might well be an extension activity that you want to introduce, and they can add those animations into their book.
I'm Mix, the talking cat, and this story is going to be all about me.
So those are the kinds of sounds that we can add in. Okay, who wants to get creating? I've done enough chatting. Can you find JIT for me? Teachers, you can pause the session at any time. I have assumed that they are logged in and ready to go. If not, pause the session, get them logged in, use the QR codes, and then we're ready to go. So let's have a look. We're going to find JIT, which is our JIT, this yellow tile here. It may well be in a different space for you. And it always opens up in Write. Now we're not going to use Write today. We're going to use Mix, which is all the way over here. Can you see this kind of charcoaly coloured tab up here, right in the right-hand corner, just up here, here. We're going to click on that and you'll know you're in the right place, children, because your page will turn a grey kind of colour. So if it's a different colour, you haven't clicked on the right tab. Okay. Now, Mix works slightly differently to the other tools. Okay, now we are going to be using paint and writing, but teachers, just be aware that they can use these arrows here to choose a different page. So as I was saying earlier, if they want to add in an animation after the session, not now, you can choose the pink page and add an animation in. So that's just a nice extension activity if you needed one. But children, we are going to stay with this blue middle bit and we're going to stay with this layout. So I just want you to hit the tick button for me. Okay, so we're going to choose this one and tick. And that is our Mix page ready to go. Now, the reason this is different from our other JIT tools is that we've got our paint box up here and we've also got our text box at the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click in our text box and we're going to type out the title of our book. So who can remember what was the title of our book? What was the theme that we're sort of going to think about? It was the day our pet could talk. Okay, so we're going to type that out. The day our pet could talk. Now you, of course, can call it something slightly different. Teachers, if you want them to have a different focus, you can instruct them at this point. If maybe you've got a class book that you're thinking about, or they've already written a story and they're creating this ebook. So this is just the theme that I'm going to give you. Okay, so we've got the title for our book and we're going to hit enter on our keyboard. So that is that big button on the right hand side of your keyboard. We're going to hit it once and then we're going to put our author. So we're going to put by, and who is the author of your ebook? It's you. You put your name. So I'm going to put my name, Miss Kimball, because that's what I was christened, of course. Miss Kimball. So if your name is Lottie, you're going to put by Lottie. If your name is Harry, you're going to put Harry. If your name is Mohammed, you're going to put Mohammed. Okay? So don't type by Miss Kimball on yours. Okay, the other things that we can do, we can change the size of our typing. We can change the font. So there's 6 fonts, so that's how our text looks. So you can click on these words here and it'll change. And you can also change the colour of your text. I'm going to go for purple because that is my favourite colour. I feel like my chair is very low today. Okay. Right, so once we've got our heading and our author written, we're going to create the front page illustration. So teachers, I'm well aware that I've gone quite quickly through the typing bits, so you might want to pause and then just press play when you're ready. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a setting or a background for our book. Okay. So up here, can you see? I'm going to zoom in. You don't need to, okay? I'm going to zoom in just to show you these two buttons because they often get missed. So this little star button here, that is how we can get our template. So you know when we do some painting in Paint, that is going to give you all of those backgrounds that we normally have in Paint. So I want you to click on this button here. Okay, right at the top, it's underneath your file name box, right at the top of your page. You're going to click on that star, and that is going to bring these up for you. Okay. Now, if you're feeling really brave, you can draw your own background, but I don't have time for that today. So I want you to choose an appropriate background for your pet to sit on. So, you know, there are some nice Christmas ones at the bottom, but I would probably stick with maybe things like the meadow, the path, the wood, the town, or the park. I think I'm going to go with the meadow. So when you find the background that you want, click on it and it will add that in. Now, if you add a background by mistake, don't panic. You can click back on that asterisk and that's going to bring that background template up again for you. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to click on this paint page because can you see I've got my writing tools at the moment. I need to click on my paint page and that is going to show all of my paint tools. So I'm now editing this box. Can you see I've got my red cursor? I don't know why they chose red, but they did. Okay. Now we're not really going to do any drawing. What we are going to do is we're going to add in some clip art. Dear me. Sorry. Before I have a coughing fit, which is not good before next week. So we're going to click on the clip art here where it says animals. Okay. And there are clip art libraries that we could use, but we're not going to look at that today. We're going to search for our own clip art images that we want to use. Okay. So can you see underneath the word animals, I've clicked animals and I've got all these options at the top. I'm going to zoom in so you don't need to. Okay. Here, that is our web search. So we can search for any picture we want. So it's a bit like doing a Google search, but you're doing it in Just2easy, which is really cool. So we're going to click on that and we're going to search for an image. So the first thing I'm going to search for is a house because I want to add a house onto my background. It might be that you want to add something different. So you might search for your pet, but I'm just going to add a house into the background so it looks like I'm going to choose this one. So you find your list, you'll choose the picture, and there we go. Now that is a very small house at the moment. I'm going to make that much bigger by pressing on our plus button up here. Okay, now if you're using an iPad or a touchscreen device, you don't have this hover function. Can you see how I'm sort of hovering over the picture? So what you can do instead is you can touch on the page to stamp it, see what it looks like, and if it looks rubbish, you can use the undo button up here. So this little arrow here is the undo button. Okay. So that's a little bit big, I think. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to stamp it where I want my house. There we go. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my pet. So your pet is going to be different to my pet. okay, or your main character, should I say. Okay, so I'm going to add in a cat. Got lots of cats to choose from. Mitz is a black cat. I can't remember how I added in my black cat, but I did. So she might have to be a different colour. So you find your pet. I'm going to go for this gorgeous looking little cat here. So you might look for a dog. So can you see I've written in my keyword, which is cat. You might look for dog or horse or sheep or chameleon or spider. Whatever pet it is that you have, or if you don't have a pet, just have an imaginary pet or the pet that you wish you had. Okay. And when you find your pet, you're going to click on it, and that is going to allow you to stamp that onto your page. Now my cat is going to be a little bit big. There we go. That is too big for my picture. So I'm going to use this little minus button up here next to my cat's whiskers. I'm going to make her smaller. There we go. And I'm just going to pop her in front of the house like that. Okay. Now teachers, of course, they can edit that front page a little bit more if they want to. So you can use things like the fill tool, the 3D texture tool, and the color picker tool if they wanted to make that a little bit more personal. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do before we add another page is we're going to record some audio. Now, what I will say is the problem with audio in a classroom when we're recording is very, very noisy. So when you play it back, sometimes it's very difficult. So especially if you've got a touchscreen device, hold it close to your face when you're recording. Identify where the microphone is. Usually the microphone is at the bottom on an iPad. So you might need to look to your teacher to sort of figure out where the microphone is. Hold it close to the microphone, not with your lips on the microphone, but close enough, and hopefully that will help to improve your sound a little bit. Those of you that are using laptops that don't have microphones plugged in, I'm sorry, you can't participate in this little bit, but you could if you had a touchscreen device. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to press this button up here. I'm going to zoom in again so you can see the little microphone button. We're going to click on that. So this is the first time I think we've done this in a live lesson. Okay, and we're going to hit this record button. We're just going to say the title of our book and our author, and then we're going to press the big square button. So that is the stop button. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to press record. The Day Our Pet Could Talk by Miss Kimball. Press stop. I should have pressed stop before I said press. And then you can listen back to that if you want to. Now make sure the volume on your device is turned right down, especially if other people are recording around you. Okay, so just be mindful of other people. Teachers, sometimes this kind of thing is really good to send them off, maybe out into the corridor in groups or into corners of the room, especially if you've got those touchscreen devices, you know, they're designed to be moved around. So my teacher cupboard was always useful for this kind of thing. So we can play that back.
The Day Our Pet Could Talk.
Brilliant. And when you're happy with it, you click OK. And that has now linked that sound to the top of that page. Okay. So we have added a text into our text box. We've added pictures onto our paint box. And we've also added sound to the top of our page. Okay. Next, we're going to add a new page. So can you see at the top of your page here, just under the paint button, we've got this plus button. I'm going to zoom in again just so you can see. That is how we add a page. So we're going to click that, and that is going to take us to this page again. So it's going to ask us which page format do you want and which tool do you want to use. Now for today's lesson, we are just going to use paint and a text box. But teachers going forwards, they can use different elements to their book. As I said earlier, they could add in a write page or just a paint page or an animate page. Okay. So all we're going to do is we're going to hit this tick box down here. So we're going to tick, and that is going to take us to our brand new page. Okay. So I think I've got 4 minutes left. So I'm going to have to do this very quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the beginning of our story in this box here. So I'm going to set the stage. So I'm going to say, one Thursday morning, Miss Kimball was getting ready for her live lesson. Okay, you need to think of the beginning of your story. So your story may be different to mine. You might be getting ready for Miss Kimball's live lesson. You might be getting ready for school. You might be out in the garden. Okay, so we're setting the scene for our book. So I want you to come up with one sentence that sets the scene for your book. So that's my sentence. One Thursday morning, so I'm telling you a time. Miss Kimball, so I'm telling you the character, was getting ready for her live lesson. So I'm telling you what the character was doing at the beginning of the story. So teachers, they may well need a little bit more time to type that out. So pause the session. I'm just going to show you how to do the top illustration, and then we'll wrap up the session. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to add a background. So I'm going to click on my paint page. And this time I'm going to go up to my asterisks. And we can add in picture backgrounds as well as these backgrounds here. So exactly the same as we did with our clip art. Okay, but slightly different. We have to click on pictures first. And then the same as we did with our clip art, we've got the little globe button. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see. Okay. And now we can search. So I'm going to search for dining room. I'm going to see what comes up. I don't know what will come up. Dining room. So you're going to look for the setting of your story. So if you've said it's in the kitchen, it's in the garden, you're going to use those words as key words for searching. Oh, some lovely dining rooms. I mean, I wish my dining room looked like that. We'll go with this one, shall we? Because I am in my dining room. There we go. So I've got my setting. So that is my dining room. And I need some props and a character. So I need Miss Kimball. So again, I'm going to go to my clip art and I'm going to web search again. So I'm going to look for a teacher and see what comes up. I mean, this could be dodgy, couldn't it? I don't think I'm going to get anything that really looks like me. Oh, that'll do. So this is going to be me in the story. There we go. So I'm going to pop me there. I'm going to stamp me on the page. Now, if I was being really pernickety, I would change the colour of my hair and possibly put some glasses on me, but let's not split hairs. And then I also need a laptop on the table. So again, I'm going to search for that. So I'm going to click on the word there. I'm going to click that web search and I'm going to look for laptop. I'm going to choose this one. I think there aren't any laptops with Just2easy on, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm going to make that a bit smaller, pop it on the table. There we go. Ready to go. I mean, I have a bit of a better setup than that, but for the purposes of demonstration. And then we're going to record our audio. Okay, so the audio at the top. So I'm going to hit my record button, hit record, and I'm going to record that first bit of my story. One Thursday morning, Miss Kimball was getting ready for her live lesson. Okay, and I want you to try and put some inflection in your voice. I don't want a monotone voice through your story. Make it sound exciting. You want to make the reader or the listener or the viewer, I don't know what you would call it for an ebook, the viewer of the ebook, you want them to be excited and you want them to want to listen to the rest of the story. Okay, so when you're reading, have a think about how you're reading, maybe practice it a couple of times. And then we're going to click OK. And there we go. So that is the beginning of our story. So I knew this was ambitious to try and get this into a half an hour. Okay, but teachers, they can save that using the save button. So up here, children, we're going to press that save button. We're going to get our savey circle. It's the technical term for it. And once it's finished savey circling, you'll see you've got your ghost save button there. So you know that it's saved, and that's going to save into your My Files. Okay, so you can come back and edit that later. Teachers, they can add as many pages as they want. So you can keep adding to this in further sessions if you want to. Okay, so this is the end of our session. Another live lesson. Just a gentle reminder, teachers, we are running a Christmas card competition for 2025 to be our company Christmas card. So the children can use Jit Paint to create a wonderful Christmas illustration. A little bit of a tip, don't just use the Christmas backgrounds. Okay, you see those a lot. But you can enter through our Facebook group. So there is a link from the teachers area on your Launchpad. So your Launchpad is here, teachers area. There is a link to join the Facebook group, and the deadline is next Thursday. So it's coming up really quickly. I think we've had a few entries already. So please feel free to enter into that. And obviously, just to remind you, we have got that change of schedule for the live lessons. Don't worry if it doesn't fit in with your schedule. I'm well aware I've sort of rejiggled things around because I just didn't want to cancel for next week because I will not be here for 2 weeks. So I will be delivering one on tomorrow morning and one on Monday morning, but that link will work on the usual Thursday morning as well. It will just be a recorded version instead of a live lesson. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching, class. I hope you've enjoyed it. Teachers, if you are posting social media about this morning, about the live lessons, if they've created some wonderful books, I get a real thrill. I live my teacher life vicariously through you guys. So if you do post to social media, make sure that you tag us. Otherwise, I don't get to see. I don't get the small thrill. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And join us for more live lessons soon. Okay. Thanks, Cass. Bye-bye.